the CFL, you know what? We're down to the cream of the crop. What do you like in that second game? It's BC at Winnipeg.
So we've been talking together, you and I, CFL, and following it for a couple of years now. Feels like longer because we lost out to 2020, but we've learned that it is not good for your health to bet against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. We've learned that. I'm leaning the other side on this one. I'm looking at this game, and you have to go back to October 8th since Winnipeg has played meaningful football, and specifically their quarterback, Zach Collaros. And who did they play on October 8th? They played Edmonton. So we've been fading Edmonton, betting against them, making bank every single week by betting against Edmonton. So I don't know that we can call that meaningful football. And so you're now going back into September to find a game that truly, because Winnipeg has just run away with it. They've been stacking up wins. Now I'm going to go back to last year. And so they had a very similar scenario last year where they ran away with the division. They locked up the number one seed. They locked up the bye early. And the first game they came out in the playoffs, Zach Collaros threw 3 interceptions, and they struggled to put points up on the board. Now, they have a different wide receiving core. They no longer have Kenny Lawler, who I have gone on record and said I believe he is still the best wide receiver in the CFL. They no longer have him. Shane, he's pretty banged up. But I will tell you, if you give Nathan Rourke and these BC Lions extra opportunities, they're going to make you pay. And Nathan Rourke came back off the injury. I really like the way that BC handled his return. They inserted him into the game last week. They didn't overwork him. They gave him opportunity, little chemistry. He still appears to have that mobility. I think that 5 points is too many. My approach here, I'm going 3/4 of a unit on the game with the points, and I'm also gonna lay the quarter unit to get us to a full unit to the actual money line. It's in playoff football. I strongly believe that you're either laying the points and taking the favorite, or your money line the other side, because a lot has to go wrong for the dog to actually cover. So I believe BC is going to win here. I think that we're looking at a Toronto BC Grey Cup, and it'll be nice because the last two have been Hamilton against Winnipeg. So it'll be nice to see some new teams in it, and that's going to be at Mosaic in Saskatchewan.
I want to talk a little bit about the Buckeyes because of the fact that you're dealing with now a playoff potential for your team, right?
Yeah, we are. And always the team up north and how that fares. It's always funny to me that, we're looking at angles for Bama to get back in it, angles for Tennessee to get back in it. What if Ohio State plays the Wolverines and it's a 2-point differential? Do 2 Big Ten teams get in? There's never been 2 teams from another conference outside the SEC to get into it. But Ohio State, I was watching that game early last week, and they looked terrible. I mean, they looked absolutely terrible, and they won by 14. Now we fast forward, Bama lost outright. Tennessee got just smoked. And then you look at the Ohio State looking terrible and winning by 14. No, that's not so bad anymore, is it?
We talked about that the other night with somebody. I was talking about the SEC, and the bottom line is Tennessee and Georgia are on the same side. It's the same with Ohio State and Michigan. As long as there's only 4 teams in the playoff and you got 2 of your best teams in the same division of the same conference, it's going to be a nightmare. I don't understand why they can't get it to 8 pretty easily. I mean, it really shouldn't be that difficult to get it to 8 very easily.
I like 4. 6 wouldn't offend me, if you gave 2 teams a bye. I was listening on a podcast a couple days ago, and it's a really intelligent opinion that these conferences that have divisions are doing themselves a disservice. The Big 12 and the Pac-12, they got it right. The top 2 teams are going to that conference championship game. But Ohio State, if they win out the rest of their games, woohoo, they get to go play Illinois. We're looking at Clemson. I believe it's Clemson, Wake, and Florida State that are in the ACC. The prize for winning that division is play North Carolina. That doesn't do anything for them. It works out in the SEC because you got Bama on one side, and typically if Bama has a missed one, it's because LSU or Auburn was that good. But the divisions, it's just not good for the conferences. I don't think anybody would have a problem with Ohio State and the team up north playing each other 2 weeks in a row.